Have you failed at anything in your life? Great, then this podcast is for you. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Elevate from Failure podcast. I'm your host, Jan Smith. I'm the owner of Brody Blog. We are a boutique marketing agency. I'm here with Scottie, who is an avid podcaster, a person that I can definitely learn from. And we're here to talk about ways that we've experienced failure or when we felt like we were a failure, how we've overcome obstacles in our lives, and even things that we're still kind of going through because we're all human, of course. So welcome, Scottie. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Now, I apologize, guys, for the lack of better lighting. I'm at a hotel, but yay, we move on, and traveling is fun. So, Scottie, where are you based?
I am in Austin, Texas.
Oh, that's a cool
So,
city.
yeah, very, very, very cool city. A lot of people love coming to visit Austin. It's one of those destination places like here in Texas, and Texas is really big. So
Mhm.
we're the biggest thing in this area. I've been here for probably like 20 plus years now. My family
Wow.
is from Texas. Well, I'm born and raised in Texas,
Mhm.
grew up in South Texas. So yeah, I've always been here and I've been in Austin for quite a while. Yeah.
Wow. I lived in Fort Worth for a couple of years, but Austin is
Oh,
definitely
nice.
cooler.
Well, but you grasp the concept of how big all this is, and how
It's
far
huge.
everything
Huge.
is. Yeah, it's a big state because it's big and round. It's not like California and like long. It's
Mhm.
like, it's a to get across it, it takes forever.
It's like its own country almost.
Yeah, some on some level, yeah.
Yeah, being here in Scotland, which I love, I'm learning how just small Europe is, which is fine. Like a place doesn't have to be huge to be awesome. But yeah, you in 2 hours you can be in a different country, which is in 2 hours in Texas you would still be in Texas. Yeah.
You'd be like you haven't even gotten. I remember I moved a friend to Colorado, and I
Mm.
think the trip that to Colorado from where we were was 18 hours, and
Oh my gosh.
you spent 13 hours of that in Texas. So
Oh,
it's that's how big it is, especially
yeah.
going in that direction.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. People here could not be able to grasp that for sure. So
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about I was just telling Scottie, everyone, that I love his setup. I love his studio. So we're going to go ahead and talk about his podcast. And if you guys out there are thinking about it, and maybe this is also kind of diving into if you want to do something in the creative field or any field and you feel like it's a saturated market, what you can do if you just still feel passionate about it and how you can kind of create your own brand, so to speak, so that you find the right people and that you can kind of conquer that fear or that limitation. So, Scottie, if you want to talk about your podcast and your kind of the background of why you started it.
Well, I would like to have something more magnanimous about the reason why I started it, but I think why most people start a podcast is because they think that they have something interesting to say
Mhm,
that the world should hear on some level, right?
mhm.
And depending on what type of podcast you're doing, that could be like the sole mission of that. So, but the reason why I started it was because it was the pandemic and we can't
Mhm.
really go anywhere and we're only seeing like, close friends and blah, blah, blah. And so I had started building the studio so that my girlfriend, she's a musician, so that she could have a place to record music. And she,
Oh,
and she got out here and she was like, the acoustics out here are horrible because it's a garage, right? So it has a certain
oh,
sound, certain
echoes.
well, I have a giant carpet in here, and I
Ah,
learned later because I don't know nothing about recording music, but she does that helps dull the sound. And then the whole ceiling is soundproofed,
uh-huh.
right? Like just stapled on the ceiling. Because this is
Ah,
I converted my garage into my studio, if that makes sense, right?
yeah, yeah.
Uh, so anyways, and so we started this because it was me and my friends, and we're gonna kind of, like talk and do blah blah blah. And actually, the original name of my podcast was called A Moderately Good Podcast. That was the original name of my podcast.
Moderately
And
good.
Yeah, it was just moderately good. And I mean, that's about as good as it was, especially through the first, like, we'll say 50 episodes, 50, 60 episodes because I do everything, for the most part, I do everything in here. So I
Mhm.
record with another person in here. When you come and you're a guest on the podcast, we have like, we get drinks. If you
Oh,
drink alcohol, we can have some, some of your beverages, right? We are, just what water, whatever you want, we get food. Um, we have a meal together before, after, or whenever you want to, depending on if it's a musical act or like whatever's going on.
mhm.
And I feel like that really sets the mood or the tone of what I'm trying to do here, which is have a really good conversation that you have with another friend, right?
Mhm.
And so the evolution of a moderately good podcast to just be with Scottie G started when of guests, because I'm always, after I get done with every podcast, I always go, I want feedback. And
Mhm.
I don't want you to tell me it's good, and I don't want you to tell me it's bad. I want you to give me something I can work with to make this better, right?
Okay.
Now, most people, if they have a good experience, they were just like, "Oh, it was great." You know what I mean? It's great. I mean, there's that. They're not thinking about it like that. But then, the guy that gave me this feedback, which eventually came to be Just Be with Scottie G,
Mhm.
he was like, he was a guest on a Miley Good podcast, and he said, "What you're doing here isn't like a moderately good podcast." He goes, "It is, whatever, but that doesn't say like what you're actually like doing in these conversations."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Well, what would you call it?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know." He goes, "But like, maybe there's something else." And so I don't know if he said Just Be with Scottie G, or if like one of my other friends said that.
Mhm.
But when somebody said Just Be with Scottie G, this was already my coaching platform. The Just Be part was already the coaching platform. When somebody said that,
Wow.
I said, like, as soon as it hit me, when it hit me, after I took that feedback, I changed everything overnight. Overnight, I went in, I bought like all the domain names. I mean, I went all the way in on it, right?
Mhm.
Because it felt like and however this sounds, it felt like the momentum of what was happening was sending me that direction,
Whoa.
right?
That,
There,
yeah.
because when that guy told that to me, and when I changed the name, man, I don't know how long it was. We'll say it was like 6 months. It was a long time. It wasn't like an overnight. And it stuck with me. And I was like, oh, like he's right, but like, what is it? I don't know. And when it hit me, I was like, done, changing everything. And then that's when I changed it all to this. And this is like, I mean, to be honest, like it's bigger than anything that I would have imagined I would be doing like this. As a kid, I wanted to have like my own show. I
Mhm.
thought that would be cool to have my own show and do commercials and whatever. I'm a creative person like that. I was an
Mhm.
artist when I was in school, right? So,
Yeah.
but the world's different than I'm I'm going to be 50, believe it or not,
Wow.
right?
Yeah. Hard to believe.
And the world is a different place than the generation I grew up in, and embracing that and going like, I could do whatever I want.
Mhm.
It's my show. I'm not beholden to anybody. I'm not
Mhm.
beholden to a sponsor. I'm not beholden to a I'm not I can do whatever I want. That is where creativity grows. Like that's where that grows out of. And when
Mhm.
you tap into that as an individual, to me, you tap into something that's bigger than you, and that connects you to other people. And that's why singing is so important and
Mhm.
making art is so important. I'm not saying you're bad or you're good. I'm just saying you do it
Mhm.
because it grows you, and you
Mhm.
never know where you might find that. I had a guy on
Mhm.
my podcast. His friend was like down and out, and it was a great cook. Decided that he was going to do barbecue, turned his life around because he
Ah.
found a unique niche in the way to do barbecue. And he
Mhm.
did that because it grew into something, and so I'm growing something. That's what I
Mhm.
feel like on my podcast.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that really answered your question,
No, it
but
does. It does. So when your friend or or whoever kind of gave you that idea or may have, yeah. Like from then, did you have any doubts from that point till when you locked in, or even like after figuring out that you're going to lock in? Did you have any doubts or like those like voices?
So again, like when he told me and when I actually changed it,
Mhm.
it was a while. I don't know. I can't remember. I have to go and look, but it was a while before it came to me that I should do this.
Mhm.
And it bugged me like bad. Like I was like really kind of like I was like, I mean, it challenged me, is what I should say. It challenged me to be more, to do more, to make more. I could
Mhm.
have stuck with what was really easy, which was what I already created,
Mhm.
or I could reach like big. And so when it hit me like this is your opportunity to reach big,
Mhm.
then I go, okay, like don't question it. Like I mean, like it's just I don't know. I feel like there are those moments if you're connected in enough with this whole thing, there are moments where you feel that and you go, yes. It's like when you go to like a concert and
Mhm.
everybody sings at the same time. It's
Oh,
kind of the
that's
same thing,
give me
right?
chills. Yeah.
Right. Because the universe is connecting us, in my opinion, right? And
Mhm.
when you are connected, you take the time to be with yourself, to connect to something that's bigger than us,
Mhm.
then that opens up the creativity in you to connect. And then that's where this grows into. That's what this grown into to me. I'm actually right now, I want to make my own documentary.
Mhm.
And I went on this podcast tour, right? And
Mhm.
so I want to make a documentary about this podcast tour. And the theme of the documentary is what is this giving me that money cannot provide?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Because still do this for free. I don't get paid for it. I lose money constantly, right? I do this because I want to create. That's the cost of creation in this moment, if that
Mhm.
makes sense, right? And so this little documentary is going to be about that. It's going to be about how is this provided to me, and I think about how my daughter thinks like I'm on YouTube. She thinks I'm on TV. She's like, look, Daddy, you're on TV, like
Yeah,
Mickey
that's
Mouse,
the
and
generation. Like now YouTube like is equivalent to TV.
yeah, and
Like it pretty much is.
we watch YouTube on our TV.
Yeah, it's like YouTube TV.
Right, yeah. So like she'll see me like I can play it on the TV and she'll go like, oh, hey, are we gonna watch your podcast? So it's like she's only 5, but I feel like every time you hear one of those stories about someone that goes to do great stuff and they were like, my dad was like so cool or my dad was like so creative, or my dad inspired me or whatever. That's what I want to do for her, and
Oh.
that fulfills me and fulfills that and is something that promotes what I do, which is like
Mhm.
helping people grow gracefully, age gracefully in every phase and facet of your life. So being the physical, the mental, and the metaphysical, your purpose of being on the planet. Because if you don't feel your purpose, then you're not gonna feel connected. And if you don't feel connected, then that's when bad stuff starts to happen, right? That's when we turn to substances and all that good jazz, right? So we want to make
Yeah.
sure that we stay connected as much as we can. So that allows me to do all that, and that's like really cool. I mean, I couldn't be more grateful, to be honest.
Oh. Yeah, I think that's wonderful. And I think a great point is the whole making money thing. Like, let me blur my screen maybe. Do there we go. No, I don't like that. Whatever.
Hey, I love, I went so
There, it's fine.
it's fine. Hey, it's fine. And let me tell you
People,
why.
this is life.
Let me tell you
This is
why. This is something I learned on the podcast tour.
mhm.
Okay, I'm used to the setup in here where I can control the environment, right? When I went on this tour, like I was taking like stand up like lights and like all this stuff battery powered, and like I mean, if something could have gone wrong, like everything went wrong,
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is not about necessarily this being perfect. It's about what I capture and
Mhm.
what I do with it. And
Mhm.
actually, those imperfections show that, like I mean, I don't want it to be horrible, But you know what I mean? Like I can create out of that. I've had to deal with work in 5 years of doing this. I've had to deal with what I feel like is way worse situations than what I dealt with on the road. But you learn that by doing it. You know, and I congratulate you for like just doing it, man. Like I mean, you know, like this is awesome. I appreciate you giving me your time. You know what I'm saying?
Aw. Yeah, thank you. And I appreciate that too. Yeah, I feel like with this, I would definitely learn from you from being a more experienced podcaster. But okay, yeah, so also I think you had a good point about yeah, about making money from this. Part of what I do and what I've been very grateful to do is modeling. And that's kind of what brought me in a weird way, kind of unexpected way to Scotland. So I do that for art classes with photographers and things like that, designers a little bit, but it is a job. And I remember when I first like, I would say like the majority of last year up until like before the holidays, I literally saw it as a job, and I would even like complain a little bit, like, oh man, I have to go to work, and like, but like when I was in high school or whatever, that was my dream to do this. Um, and then here I am doing it at this level that I'm grateful for, but I was just like not happy. But then like I felt like I had a shift where it's like, you know what? No, I'm super grateful for this, and I kind of want to see where this goes, type of thing. But it's funny how like things that we the creative things that we dream about or even love when there's like money involved, it takes the fun out of it and it feels almost like a chore. So
Well, at the end of the day, if you're doing things for money, you're not necessarily you're being
it's like less
you're
of
a
an art, right? Or is it?
you're a creative slave. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I mean that's the truth. Like, you know, because like you're like when you're I've been commissioned to do things,
Mhm.
and when you're commissioned to do things, unless they give you total and complete freedom, and even then, it might not be total and complete, right?
Yeah.
Then you're a slave to the dollar. But like, I'm not a slave to nobody in here. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, in a very frank way, in the sense of like, I get to make this what I want to make it, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like,
If you're an entrepreneur, you can do a lot on your own. But with a reliable team on your side, you can go even farther. I'm the owner of Brody Blog, and we are a full service marketing team. Whether it's increasing sales for your business or making sense of the analytics from Instagram, Facebook, and so on, we can help grow your business, therapy practice, or charity by developing a strategy with the media channels that align with your highest goals. Whether you want to take your business to new heights or have a passion project that you want to transition into a business, having the right team will help you to reach your goals while actually saving you money. For a complimentary consultation, send us an email at this address and follow us on these social channels. Thank you for tuning in to the Elevate from Failure podcast. Now, here is the rest of this episode.
like, think about it. If you're gonna do so, like, okay, we'll say that you become Instagram famous or podcast famous or whatever it is, okay?
Mhm.
Whatever shtick, whatever the thing is that you do or whatever that is, you better be cool with that because it's hard to pivot
Mhm.
once you've established that, right? And I'm comfortable with everything I do in here. So if someone goes, I want to give you money for it, I'm like, well, that's just a bonus because
Yeah.
I'm already doing it the way I want to do it. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
that feels I didn't know that, you know, podcast tour. I didn't know like that that's what I was cultivating. And these the time I got to spend by myself because I went by myself and visited a lot of my friends that are
Mhm.
way way more important than me. And so, you know, I just learned a lot about like I do this for this reason of like I just think it makes me a better person.
Aw.
And
Yeah.
like that is important to me because I was just having this conversation today. This is crazy. Like, how do I want to be remembered when
Mhm.
I'm not here? What will people say about me right? When I'm dead and gone, where they'd be like, well, that guy was a jerk. Or where they'd be like, that guy was like, he told me happy birthday every year or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I guess me having my daughter cultivated part of that in me. And
Mm.
part of this is that cultivation of that, of our relationship. You know, my daughter is 5 and she takes singing lessons. I mean, her mom's, it's not from me. Her mom's the one that's a musician. Okay.
That's pretty incredible
But yeah, I mean, but
at age.
okay. Humble brag, humble brag. And I have proof of this. She was writing her own songs at like 4.
Oh my gosh,
It's crazy.
that
And
is crazy.
I even asked her singing teacher, I was like, you know, how normal is this? She's like, oh, you don't see this very often. And I was like, wow. But again, not me. That is not,
We're
that's
talking
not me.
prodigy here. That is
That,
awesome.
that's all her mom. But, but she has
She's
no
very teacher.
fear. She has no fear in singing. And I want to believe that part of that is because she like thinks I'm on TV. You know what I mean? Part of it is the model I make. I'm not modeling it for her to do that,
Mhm.
but I mean, we're a creative family. Like my
Yeah.
girlfriend's a musician. I'm an artist. You know what I mean? So like,
Mm.
it's natural. So I think especially at the age she's at, it's so great. And like, you know, have you ever colored as an adult, like just crayon coloring book as an adult?
Yes.
Does
Yes, I
that,
have.
how does that, do you, that, just to take your time with it and remember it and feel it somehow, I feel like it connects us back into when we were like little kids, when like
Oh
time,
yeah.
like time is like, you don't even know what time is. You have no idea. It's just
Oh
happening.
yeah, I
You
do
know what I
miss
mean?
that. Yeah. Yeah, it's
And so
true.
those are the moments that you spend with yourself to cultivate that, to have, you know, to be grateful.
Mhm.
And just the podcast is another way for me to do it personally.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think a lot of us do kind of want to leave a legacy or something behind. Um, yeah, and I think that yeah, like I think that each of us need to like either like find or just like accept that inspiration, whatever that is, whether you have a kid, whether you oh yeah, whether you want to have a show. I actually do want to ask, because you mentioned that when you were maybe like growing up or something, you wanted to be on TV or wanted to have your own show. So do you believe in manifestation and did you kind of manifest this? Like to basically have your own show?
So the answer to the first question is, do I believe in manifestation? Right? The answer is 100% absolutely. All right.
Mhm.
The second question was, what was the second question?
Did you manifest it? Because I think you mentioned that when you were younger, you wanted to have your own show or something. Is that correct? Or wanted to be on TV?
Okay, so you know, a great question. I've never really thought this out before, so this is good, right? So when I was a kid,
Mhm.
I wanted to do all these things, but like you have to remember, this is like we'll say 1986
Mhm.
is like when I'm 10 years old,
Mhm.
right?
It's a great decade. I'm a little jealous. I wish I lived in the 80s.
It was awesome. It was the 80s, man.
I know. I want
Okay,
to go back in time.
and so and so in the town that I lived in of 5,000 people, I didn't know anybody that did
Oh,
anything like this.
yeah.
You know, like,
Mhm.
and there's no way to find people like that. There's no internet, like, you know. And so basically, I just push those dreams down, and I do what a lot of people do is I just do the things that I think I'm supposed to do because that's what you're supposed to do, and this is the order you're supposed to do them in, and all that kind of jazz, right?
Yeah.
And that's great if it makes you happy. But ultimately, I think that each of us would want a more customized version of that for ourselves. And
Mhm.
manifestation allows that to happen, right?
Mhm.
And it's the thoughts you put forward, you know, like the way I approach and I think about people allows me to approach them like that, if that makes sense, right? So like
Mhm.
I try to ultimately go like, if somebody's being a butthead, maybe they're just having a bad day. You know, if I don't know them or whatever, or
Yeah.
if I have a bad interaction or whatever, I try not to get too caught up in it too long. Europe's very great about just moving on from situations like that, which is I love, right?
Keep calm and carry on.
Yeah, it's like you know, like You bump into you're American, you bump into somebody, and you're kind of like, hey, and the guy's like down the street, he's already gone. And you're just like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're not going to worry about it. Like, and then you get used to it. And then you come back to America, you bump into somebody, and they're like, hey, you're like, well, what? I'm just going, man. Like, leave me. Anyways, I
No, that is
digress.
very true. Yeah, it is very true.
So, so I didn't know I was manifesting all this stuff when it kind of started, but I
Oh,
had a pivotal moment in my life that changed the way I saw everything. You call it a come to Jesus or whatever. But I
mhm,
had a moment that changed everything for me to look at it a different way. And in
mhm,
that opportunity, I was manifesting, not even kind of knowing what kind of name to put on it. I just knew I wanted to be different
mhm,
before my life was up. Before I was just wasting too much time. And this is before I had my daughter.
mhm,
This is before my current family and all of this, right? So I guess I was manifesting this show, but I just pushed it dormant. Like I pushed it down like a lot of us
mhm.
do. And
Yeah.
I think it's because, we could say imposter syndrome and use all the cool words. But ultimately, right, you just need something that you love to do that's it could be anything.
Mm,
But something that you can put your love and passion energy to, and that helps grow it for other places. It's like growing it at home.
mhm,
So like you can go out into the world and be nice to people and stuff like that. And that stuff's important. That's why when you meet people that are really into music, you could feel that vibe when they're really into music and what it means to them.
mhm.
Right? And that's cool. That's really cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So you're in Austin. I reckon that South by Southwest is big for you. Is that um kind of like do you interview artists for that festival and kind of around that? Because in Edinburgh, where I'm now based, we have the Fringe Festival. Actually, we have Edinburgh Festival and the Fringe, which is like more like local people. Um, and pretty much it's the biggest. It's in August. It's the biggest festival of the year, and like kind of the whole year kind of amps up for that. So is Austin the same as South by Southwest? And I guess how involved are you with that?
So, well, hang on. Have you been to South by Southwest?
No, I've always wanted to go though.
Okay, I mean, you should go. You should definitely go. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm old enough when South by Southwest wasn't like what it is. I mean, it's crazy now, right? It's like this huge thing now. But like for the most part, I don't know. This is like so bad. This is so bad. If you've lived here a long time, you're like, I'm not going down there during South by. It's crazy,
Well,
especially like
no,
you know
that's
what I
like
mean.
here with Fringe. They're like, no, we're not
Yeah, I
gonna go.
mean, it's like if you're from New Orleans, like, and you're like, hey, you go to Mardi Gras, they're kind of like, not so much anymore. You know what I mean? And so, but it is such a good experience. But like I interview bands that play at South by Southwest all the time. Like I
That's
constantly
so cool.
interview rappers and bands and and do all the music in here, do like little recordings. I do this we do this series called Mixtape Therapy, right?
Mhm.
Where I have band members come in, they play music and they talk about why they write these songs and like blah, blah, all that kind of stuff, right? And that's like so cool because like right? And then I didn't tell you. I have this podcast, but then I have this other podcast that I do with my friend Hannah, and it's called Mixtape Therapy, where
Oh,
we take pieces of media and we
mhm,
do therapy sessions around. She's a therapist,
mhm.
and I'm the personality, obviously, right? And so
Personality hire.
yeah, I'm the hype man, and we bring music and we talk about it, and it's such a great thing because it grows these really organic therapy sessions about like who we are. I've cried on it before, which is like
Oh,
crazy. I
no,
never thought I never thought that would happen, and like I was like, wow, and like it's just again, it's been very therapeutic for
mhm.
us. Yeah, well, at least me. I don't know about. I can't speak for Hannah, but for me, it's been this very pudic thing of growing, and it helps my podcast. I mean, it helps me be a better podcaster to podcast all the time. You know what I mean?
Sorry, my audio. Mm. No, I think it's my AirPods. Yay,
Are they
showbiz.
are
So
they
we have
dead?
about,
Go ahead.
can you hear me?
Hmm.
Can you hear me? Okay. So we have about 6 minutes left. So, Scottie, I know it's so sad because I want to talk to you about so much more, but where can people find you? Where can people find both your podcasts? And guys, all his info is going to be in the description box below, socials and everything. But yes, please feel free to tell everyone where they can find you.
If you want to find anything that I do, you can find it at heyjustbe.com, right? If you go to Hey Just Be on any social platform, anywhere you'll find it. Okay. Oh, excuse me so much. If you want to find me, you can just go to Hey Scottie G. Whoa, blackout. If you want to find me, you can go Hey Scottie G. It's SCOTTIEG. And anywhere you can find me there. But if you want my like personal coaching, the stuff I do, you can find it at www.heyjustbe.com. I mean, like that's probably the easiest one. All my socials are on there anyway. But if you type, I hope if you type in "Hey Just Be" somewhere, that it'll show up. That's what I'm hoping. My podcast is on all the major platforms. Oh, and then the other one I do with Hannah is called Mixtape Therapy. You can find that on YouTube or on Spotify. That's the only two places we put it. We're being exclusive for some reason, probably my laziness, but like yeah, that's just those two places.
Yeah, sorry about my audio, guys. But yeah, I mean, I really like that you brought up mixtape therapy. Yeah, I mean, art and music specifically for a lot of us is therapeutic. I know that is the first thing I turn to when I want to kind of be in a meditative state and just ground or listen to something in the mood that I'm thinking about. So I love that you do that. So I will definitely check out that podcast. But yeah, maybe to finish off this episode, do you have any quick tips for someone wanting to start their own podcast or kind of creative endeavor, even when they're kind of conditioned to not do it?
You know, this is just me on social media and this is just my perception. No one else is taking, no, I'm not saying this is anybody else. There's a lot of people that talk about it, but they ain't being about it consistently. And if you got enough time to tweet about it or whatever, then you got enough time to record an episode or produce an episode. And so then are we just hiding behind imposter syndrome and all that fancy right? So what I'm saying is that if you really want, if say you want to start a podcast, this is the single easiest best tip I can give you. Decide when you're going to record, right? Oh, this is another little tip. Just record a couple of them. Like we'll say record like 6 or 7. Get some in the chamber to give you a little breathing room, right? Decide when you're going to release it. And when you release that podcast, it comes out on that day of whenever it is, always. I don't care, rain, sleet, or shine, that podcast comes out, okay? And even when the episode is crap, even when things went wrong, even when you forgot to turn on the lights, anything, whatever you can salvage that and keep going. Because it's just like anything else you do in your life. It's consistency. Working out is consistency. Eating well is consistency. The habits and the things you do are consistency. And this helps that consistency because now you're committing yourself to something. You're going to go, I'm going to be consistent here. And so it trickles over into other stuff because to be consistent here, you have to be consistent. Like you have to go to bed on time. And you have to record consistently. You have to do all these other things. So it feeds into that. And I think that's so great. It's a just benefit that I didn't think was there. You know, I didn't realize that I was going to get that. Not that I wasn't, but it also made me trust myself more that if I am consistent, then I don't have to worry so much. And I think that was another big benefit that I'm super grateful for.
Yeah, I think that's great because like we don't have to like come from something. Like we don't have to necessarily have a super cool podcaster dad, you know, like we could or come from money or whatever. Like as long as we can dedicate ourselves and like be disciplined or like at least try to, then we can kind of create and manifest anything. Yeah.
Well, let me say I did not come from really rich parents, and I did not come from a podcaster dad. So it's
You are
my
the
dad was
podcaster dad, though.
no, but I mean I'm saying I'm doing it right. And so exactly what you're saying. Like I don't have to. There don't have to be anything before me. This is about me now.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is, and that's what's most important. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's about the you now. Like how can you be better, growing all the time until you die? Like how can you keep growing all the time until you die? Because it makes your life longer. It's gonna make you live longer. It's gonna make you less stressful. I mean, like less stressed out. You know what I mean? And those things are important too. You only got so many clicks on this ticker, right? There's only so many. And if you're using them because you're all upset all the time, you're never taking a moment to just be with yourself, right? Then you never get to experience that. And it's so important.
Well, thank you so much, Scottie, and I really hope this inspires people to get out there and just do it. Just whatever you feel in your soul that you want to just be yourself and also be bold in doing what you love. So thank you so much for being on this episode. Everyone, please like, comment below, and subscribe. And yeah, thank you again, Scottie, for being on here and bearing with all the antics.
It's totally great. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.